I believe he needed another pad and paper.
Yeah, this was not a moment where Drew Levin
Wow, he
was
bribed
sitting
him
here
on camera.
with a bet. It was not a bet moment. Those don't happen at Magic tournaments. It's not allowed.
Yeah, so you can't hand the judge cash during the match. So
I know. Besides, if he actually really wanted to try to bribe the judge, it would be with something like food. It's
right.
early. There's not very much food around here. I'm sure the judges are hungry. Have this chocolate bar. Our director says you can't bribe people with sleep, and that's true. It's too late for that now. I think everyone here that has been here this morning could use some of that. We were here until pretty late last night. I think we were here just before midnight. And about 14 hours of Magic yesterday, and we're probably going to have a similar amount today. Lance Behrens, a number 1 seed in this Swiss, so he gets the choice of goal of play or draw. Unsurprisingly, it looks like it's going to be a play. Caleb Durward, the only person in this top 8 to buck the trend. So far, whoever has had the higher standing in the Swiss has been the winner. Caleb, however, changed that when he beat Adam Prozac. Turn 1 Bird of Paradise versus turn 1 Bird of Paradise. Turn 2 for Lance Behrens. Bird makes Avacyn's Pilgrim go. Caleb looking for a bonfire there. It does not show up. No second land for Lance Behrens, but he will have 4 mana at least next turn.
So Caleb, borderland ranging, he's just, like I said, remember, Caleb's the control deck here. He has to not get bonfired, he has to not get swept, and he has to make a Praetor, and that's his game plan. And Caleb pretty aware of this too, that he's the biggest Naya deck in the top 8. I mean, I imagine he'll play it accordingly.
3 different styles of Naya in this top 8. Lance Behrens playing a more traditional Naya aggro. A Naya humans list also in the top 8. And that was, bonfire.
All right, one of the things we said, one of the keys to Lance winning was to bonfire early and bonfire often. All right.
Lance only has 1 land.
There you go, only one
but
land.
That Birds of Paradise makes a bonfire for 3 just fine. Caleb, however, does have 3 mana because of the Borderland Ranger land in his hand.
And Caleb's going to reload.
Wow. I see a Birthing Pod in Caleb's hand.
That card will win him the game. Putting it bluntly, that card will win the game on its own.
I see a Restoration Angel in Caleb's hand. Another
Mana creature,
Pilgrim
Sword of Feast and Famine.
Sword.
Okay, Lance has a plan. That sword untapping all of his 1 lands.
Well, it's a huge mana accelerator. And a note from Scott G. Ors Online. Scott Gorsline on Twitter, sorry. Lance Behrens is from the Chicago area. I did not know that. And that means that he is quite willing to travel for these events.
Yeah, representing Extreme Games.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's at Circa.
Shout out for the local store. And a Gavoni Township. What a good card for Lance to have here.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was a nice pull.
If Lance can draw, that right now is putting 4 1/1 counters on things. I'm not now. So here's your decision: to Township or to Sword here.
Ugh.
I'm of the opinion that I would Sword.
I would Sword as well.
There'll be more time to Township, and Lance agrees. Restoration Angel into play, brutally going to
ouch.
Right. And I'm still going to say from Lance's perspective, I like that play.
I want to call him on it. I want to call Caleb, make the play. If you don't have it, I'm going to be in great shape.
Right. Post-combat Thalia. Thalia with Sword Thalia will be able to pick up the sword next turn, and then post-combat he'll be able to Township.
We're going to see a Birthing Pod, though,
now,
from Caleb
Township,
Durward.
Well, maybe. There's a Birthing Pod on Township on Caleb's side as well. Remember that Caleb's running a full play set of Gavoni Township.
4, 5, 6. Oh, what is this?
It's Worm Coil Engine, and it is.
Oh, boy.
Caleb's
that means
ability,
Alishnor next turn.
Caleb's ability to go bigger just brilliant. Yeah, Elish Norn, once again, Caleb's plan is to play the control deck and to make a Praetor. And he's doing it just to a T right now. Because the thing is with this deck is it doesn't take much to make it to Elish Norn.
I mean, remember, Caleb got bonfired for 2 of his cards earlier, and he's just fine.
Yeah, Caleb's late game is so strong. And not only does he have the Elish Norn, but he has 4 Gaboni Townships.
Right now, Lance has no good attacks.
I mean, Lance doesn't know that Caleb has the Birthing Pod in his hand. Yeah, Lance has no good attacks, and next turn he's going to have no creatures.
Ouch. Wow. Lance on the right is trying to find a way out of this.
All right, well,
If you're just joining us, this is the finals of the Standard Open here for Star City Games Live in St. Louis.
Yeah,
St. Louis-ish.
Lance Behrens, our last undefeated player in the tournament. He was the overall 1 seed of the entire tournament. Went undefeated, doubled through into top 8. In the finals, though, probably an underdog, though, against the biggest deck in the top 8, Caleb Durward's Unaya Pod deck. Game 1, firmly in Caleb's court.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 for paying for the Thalia. He'll play Pod. So he's paying 4 life, it seems, then.
4 life.
Dropping himself to 13. I don't see why. Yeah, he wants to. Now he had an option to swing with the Worm Coil and then pot it.
And Lance is just, nope,
Yeah, okay.
I'm done.
Nope.
Let's go to the next one.
That's the thing. That's why Elish Norn's important, is that you can't beat it.
Yeah.
From Lance's deck.
I know that I had one point with one of my control decks, like just a straight up blue-white control deck, that I had 3 Elish Norn and 3 Cavern of Souls main, just because just casting an Elish Norn, it didn't matter if I had a dead one in my hand, just casting it was so devastating.
All right, so for all of you joining us early this morning, some of you were with us for the semifinals when we gave away 6 months of Star City Premium. We're giving away something different, some of you who've joined us now.
Right.
We're giving away, for our last question of the Standard Open, a free Gen Con badge.
Right, this is the biggest 4 days in tabletop gaming in the year.
I'll tell you what, I already have my badge. I've already registered. I'm going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
Awesome.
I wasn't sure if I was going to be there, but I'm going to be there.
All right, you can see both of us there. There's going to be the Magic Team World Cup is there. So you'll get to see, the U.S. team, Kibler, LSV,
Right.
Alex Bynick, and I learned him yesterday. Apologies. Once again, I will learn your name. I will give you your own shout-out. That's terrible. Okay.
You're going to have to do that.
No, I will. I will look this up during our break, and you will get a shout-out here.
You know what's kind of crazy? In any other year, we would have both just had it all.
Yes. Anyway, it's happening the 3rd weekend in August. It is 4 days of gaming, not just any kind of gaming. There's Magic. You can play it. You can play any game you can think of that you like. It's probably there.
And you know what's amazing about it is you're going to see so many gamers there that are old school Magic players just showing up. Randy Bueller almost certainly is going to show up there. Hall of Famer Randy Bueller, just to play in the board game championships.
Oh, that's what I play when I'm there.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know Randy Bueller is one of those people that is to be feared in the board game world.
Sure. So, all right, our question. We're returning back to Ravnica.
Wait. Now remember, in order to win, at SCG Premium, hashtag SCG Premium, you can see it right there. You need to make sure you have that in your answer.
Yes.
What is the question?
All right, so question is, so of the 4 guilds that use islands, so that would be, in recap...
Selesnya?
Selesnya does not use
Oh,
islands.
Golgari?
No. I'm gonna list them for you. You don't have...
Okay. I don't have to
So we have
figure it out.
Azorius,
Okay.
Simic, Izzet, and Dimir.
Okay.
Which 2 of them will we be seeing in Return to Ravnica?
Ooh.
The other 2 are in Gatecrash. I don't want those ones. I want the 2 that are in Return to Ravnica.
So which 2 blue-based guilds are in Return to Ravnica?
Yes, I chose blue because blue's the best color.
Okay.
I know, I'm going to say now, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of Twitter about that. Great, awesome.
Okay.
Because, these are the guilds that matter, from a constructed standpoint.
Right, they're the upper crust guilds.
Okay, so which 2, and just so you are aware, it has been confirmed that each color will see 2 guilds in Return to Ravnica and the other 2 in Gatecrash.
Okay,
So it's 5 in one set, 5 in the other. At the pre-release, you're going to get to pick which of those 5 guilds you want to play, and you're going to get a different pre-release card based on which guild you pick to play.
Now, I would point out our director notes that there are some awesome blue cards in the finals.
Dude, they're playing Breathing Fire. They're tutoring cards out of their deck. That's so blue.
Okay. So remember, hashtag SCG Premium, right there, hashtag SCG Premium. The question is, which 2 blue-based Ravnica guilds will be appearing in Return to Ravnica?
In the first set.
In Return to Ravnica.
All right.
Put your answer
remember,
there.
Your options:
1.
Azorius.
Yep.
Simic. Izzet. Dimir.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Which guild do you see yourself aligning with? Are you
Simic,
Azorius?
absolutely.
Oh, interesting.
Absolutely. Blue-green has the best combo of you put more lands into play, which let you play more, which let you play cards, which lets you draw cards, which let you put lands into play, which lets you draw cards. And you start this loop where you just start doing 800 things a turn. It's amazing.
You know, I actually think that I am more along the invasion block guilds, the Anna guild, the green-blue-black guild.
Okay.
Or bug guild if you prefer.
The bug guild.
Yeah.
Actually, what's been confirmed with Simic is that it is going to be primarily a merfolk set in this next set in Return to Rav. And
Go ahead.
On top of that, if you recall and have been looking in Duels of the Planeswalkers, we met a blue-green Kiora Atura, a blue-green merfolk planeswalker. Anyway, okay, that's
back to the finals.
Okay, back to our finals. Sorry.
SCG Premium is in there. The finals, we're going to see if one of these 2 players can take this down. You can see on the left, Caleb Durward. He is up a game on the back of Elishnorn and just totally destroying Lance's table. I remember Lance was stuck on 1 land for quite a long time there.
Right.
Lance on the right. Now he's going to be able to play again. Should he win this game, though, Caleb on the play in final game would be very, very... it's a big deal when you're in these elf-elf bonfire matchups to be able to have that extra mana fast enough. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and as we can see, though, Caleb got 2 land sources destroyed, was still able to not care about too much. So sideboard, looking at both of them, what Caleb will care about, I mean,
Definitely
Bonfire comes in.
Mortar Pod
is also very good here. The Bonfire, the Mortar Pod, and probably Hero of Bladehold.
Yep.
Lance has no removal. Caleb would love to have another creature.
I also like Wolfer Silverheart.
Yeah, going bigger is great here. Caleb needs to make sure that he keeps enough small in that he doesn't die to Bonfire, but I think all those come in. From Lance's side, similar things going on. We'll see the Hero of Bladehold come in. We'll probably see the Zealous. Zealous Conscripts, I'm not sure we'll see any more than the one he already has.
I actually like the Zealous Conscripts, though, because of Elishnorn. I mean, what you can do, if you get Caleb down to 9, steal your Conscripts steal your Elishnorn with Conscripts is 9 damage, assuming that there's nothing left to defend with.
It is. I probably wouldn't board it in anyway, because I don't want to try to win a post-Elishnorn game. It's too easy to not win it. It's a decent point, though. Okay, I do see an argument for it. I'm just not sure there's main deck cards I want to cut to do that.
Right.
We might see Daybreak Ranger. Fighting is pretty relevant here. It shoots down birds, and it'll eat a mana creature every turn.
I mean, if it can also flip, it can just start eating pretty much most creatures in Caleb's deck.
Right, I think it's a little worse because Thrag Tusk is a pretty big addition to these decks. Caleb's going down to 6 cards right now.
If you're just joining us, this is Game 2 of the final match of the Star City Games Open Series here in St. Louis.
In Collinsville, Illinois.
Thank you, Joey Pasco, for St. Louis. The inimitable Joey Pasco out there watching along with all of you with the best seat in the house. I'm going to tell you, one of the things that happens at almost every single one of these events is that people come over to the monitors where we are to kind of try to see the match better, because it's easier to see the match not next to it than right next to it live. And you at home are essentially getting one of the best views of the tournament that anyone can possibly get.
Yeah. All right, turn 1, Lance Behrens. Cavern of Souls set to human, brings out Avacyn's Pilgrim. Has a turn 1 mana creature. Yep. I really like how he does his Cavern of Souls.
That's awesome. I
might steal that.
I might steal it too. That's really good.
I don't know how to do it with Giant. You have to buy Giant tokens.
Are there some Giant tokens somewhere?
There's that thing that puts a Giant into play, and then you gain some Feud Killer's Verdict or something like that.
Feud Killers, yeah, something like that.
All right,
Bird of Paradise.
Sorry.
Sword of Feast and Famine for Lance Behrens.
going to be trouble for Caleb. All his cards are green. Caleb on a mull to 6, and does he not have another land? Oh, I see.
Whoa.
This sword could eat. This sword could eat Caleb's entire hand. And Caleb knows it. You notice because the speed of his card flicking has increased.
Another Gavney Township.
It looks as though Caleb does, once again, be with his one-ofs. Caleb has drawn in his hand his one-of Oblivion Ring.
That's awesome. Bye-bye Thragtusk. Too
Land.
expensive.
Lands on tap. Lance has a lot of lands. They don't really make mana. They're very picky about making colored mana.
There's a Borderland Ranger. That fixes that problem.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Lance
tell you,
firing on all cylinders now.
Borderland Ranger.
Caleb gets to Oblivion Ring.
So awesome.
The sword, which will happen here. Yeah, Caleb's can't wait. All right, I'm gonna untap you. I already have this planned out. You have to Oblivion Ring the sword. I mean, I suppose his other options he can make Blade Splicer, but that's very risky. Well then, yeah. Then just the sword tosses to Borderland Ranger. He's got to Oblivion Ring the sword.
We'll see what he does. I think one of the reasons I'm so up on Borderland Ranger is I think in my entire history of deck building, the best deck I've ever built used Civic Wayfinder. And
Which is Borderland Ranger, but an elf.
But an elf, yeah. And here we see 3 mana. Blade Splicer.
Blade Splicer.
And you know, once you've actually had a situation where you have a deck that can regularly mulligan to 4 and do well, it's just kind of an awesome feeling. Borderland Ranger really helps that out.
Cavern of Souls is set to Restoration Angel. And I think what he's hoping is that if I'm Lance, I see that tossing the sword to Borderland Ranger looks like a great play here. So I probably make it. And then if Caleb's fine with that, then he can Restoration Angel the Blade Splicer. Then he can finally Oblivion Ring the sword. And actually he's bought a bunch of turns and still stayed at 17, well on his way to an Elishorn, which is, eyes on the prize. That's what he's trying to do.
5 mana here for Lance.
Yep, tosses the sword over to Borderland Ranger as expected.
In comes the Ranger.
Yeah,
Goodbye, Golem.
Golem's going to go in front of it.
And a bird. And Caleb untaps. No other plays besides that bird from Lance. I would consider attacking for 1 with this Blade Splicer at this point. And it's only 1 damage, but that 1 damage, as we saw in the last match where Lance Behrens got knocked down to 1, or it can sometimes matter. Caleb looking at his hand, trying to decide if he wants to get rid of that Sword of Feast and Famine, or if he wants to use his Angel at the end of the turn, or during combat. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing the block with the Blade Splicer, cast a Restoration Angel to make the Blade Splicer flicker out, and then come back with a 3/3 friend, stopping the Sword of Feast and Famine from connecting. But it looks like Caleb is just mulling over all of his options right now. O-Ring. He does go with the O-Ring on the Sword of Feast and Famine. And another mana creature, Avacyn's Pilgrim. No Bonfire from Lance as a miracle. That would be an amazing moment to Bonfire from the hand. From the top of the deck. But even if he just cast it from his hand, if he has one in his hand, it would be absolutely devastating to Caleb right now.
Yeah.
He has 1,
Bonfire,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. He could Bonfire for 3 and wipe Caleb's entire board. Does he have it? I don't think so.
Yeah,
oh, just for 1 is fine. That's Caleb's entire
actually,
board with a lot more mana left over.
Yeah. Bonfire, just integral to Lance's strategy here.
Caleb sitting with a Borderland Ranger in hand. Oh, and a hero. I think that's it. I don't know that Caleb can do anything now.
All right,
Scoop.
Caleb doesn't think so either. So we're going to game 3. Lance Behrens versus Caleb Durward. This one is for the trophy. Caleb with a Maul to 6 had to keep a hand. I mean, those Mauls are really they're really dicey because the mana creatures are so good and so fragile in these matchups.
One of the things about the mana creatures, the fragility that you bring up is so real, but at the same time, both of these players are, in a sense, cheating on their mana counts if you're thinking about their lands. I mean, if they did not have the mana creatures in their deck, they would be having to play quite a few more lands. And so a bonfire is devastating in so many ways. Not only does it chip away at that life total, but often it makes it so that a deck has one of its heads cut off. I mean, if you ever played Two-Headed Giant and then you manage to cut off somebody's head, it's sort of like that.
Yeah. So going back to the sideboard, I don't see too many changes in either player going into game 3. You know, Caleb's still just trying to be the more robust, bigger deck. If he can keep a 7 and a good 7 on the play here, I think I like him in the game. Like I said, he's got to not get bonfired out of the game, which is what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb's draw with the mulligan was fine, not extraordinary, and bonfire just meant that without the mana that he had, he didn't have access to much mana. It just tore him open, basically.
Yeah. From Lance's side, the Swords of Peace and Family blade is very good. That's one of those early threats. Though usually that's one that Caleb can probably play around. He has enough non-green creatures, or artifact destruction, or just ways to stay alive while discarding a card. That's probably, Lance Sword is good. Lance usually needs to back it up, which is what he did there.
After this match, we'll be coming back shortly thereafter to bring you Legacy, which might be once again solidly my favorite format in Constructed Magic. I know that Gristlebrand was making me feel a little bit of a frown, but now that there's all kinds of graveyard hate, I'm
right.
kind of
Gristlebrand really at the last Legacy Open and at the Legacy Grand Prix recently, I think, much less scared. People were worried it was ruining the format. I don't think anyone worries about that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was one of those worriers. But I think what we might see is we might see it the same way we saw graveyard decks in the past, primarily Dredge, where if you didn't have the hate for it, it would just potentially rear up its ugly head and punish you.
Right.
But if you're ready, you can stop it. So why, you ask, is Legacy one of my favorite decks?
Yeah.
I think it's the exact... formats. It's the same reason that I think that Delver is not particularly a problem in my mind, which is that in order for you to do well with Delver, you have to play it well. And in Legacy is a format of playing it well to do well.
All right, so we start out here, both players playing turn 1 mana creatures. Caleb going to accelerate out. It looks like he has boarded in active aggression here. He's going to play into Blade Splicer. Pass back, so Caleb's going to be a little aggressive here.
Caleb's deck, while more controlling, fully has abilities to make an aggressive start.
They have a lot of overlap between the two of them.
Lance, I wonder if he...
looks like he has a few different plays available to him.
Naming human?
We will see. Yep.
That is so great.
Respond with his own Blade Splicer. All right.
I see Visionary, I see Hero of Bladehold, I see Gavney Township, and I think I see Huntmaster of the Fells from Caleb Durward.
If at all possible, I'd try to make the hero here. I think Caleb's going to. Huntmaster.
I might be wrong about that hero, but gains 2 life.
The reason I like hero is he has an active aggression in his hand, and he can act the potential blocker for a hero of Bladehold. That said, Huntmaster is good because that lets him try to establish advantage and kill Birds of Paradise.
Pretty sure that Lance can make a play here.
Yep.
Next turn, however, if that is indeed a Gavney Township in Caleb's hand, I believe with the Pilgrim, does he have just enough to activate it?
Yeah, it is a township. It's Township Visionary Act in his hand, so I don't think he had the hero.
Oh, okay. Missaw that then.
Yeah, he'll have enough mana to activate it next turn as well, which is great because it flips. It's a great way to flip.
Yeah,
Hunt
he doesn't
Master.
have to actually cast anything, and he can still affect the table. Sort of body in mind.
Body in mind comes down for Lance Behrens. That's fine.
It's actually
I think
kind
Caleb's got to be really happy with that being the play.
It's actually kind of scary if it ever connects because it might take out tons of tutor targets for Caleb.
Sure, I mean,
If
the
it
thing
connects.
is, yeah, and even if it connects, the problem is that Caleb, like with his township here, he gets free reign to attack with the Golem token, and all his, he's setting up a very powerful next turn. If I'm Caleb, I just activate now with no blocks, and yep, that's what he'll do.
Good call.
So pushes Lance down to 16. It's counters on everything.
He's doing a shortcut.
I don't. Okay. I'm not a fan of that, but all right. If they're all fine with it, it's okay. It gets confusing when Caleb starts playing other creatures.
Flip.
We'll go at Birds of Paradise.
Dead birds.
Lance drops down to 14. So Caleb, a more traditional game plan here, but being by virtue of being on the play, I think he's got himself an upper foothold.
And the thing that's crazy about this is that this is the benefit of being on the play. However, a single bonfire at the wrong moment can make that being on the play actually a real liability with those mana creatures especially.
Right.
It's a very strange touch-and-go matchup.
Lance needs that bonfire. Lance actually with no natural red source, though. And
Mirror and Crusader,
Mirror Crusader
wow.
down. That's good, but so you can make Mirror Crusader pro most of Caleb's deck, but you can't make it pro Golem token, and that does matter.
Restoration Angel, I believe, was just drawn.
Yep. So he can Visionary Act of Aggression if he wants to flip his Huntmaster back, or he can just continue to Township.
Now, if you're wondering why there's a die on that township, Caleb is shortcutting having a die on all 5 of those creatures. The moment he puts another creature down, though, he's going to have to end that shortcut. I know that personally, were it me, if I were the table judge, I wouldn't have let that fly.
He'd be like, oh, I've gotten out a stack of dice. I'm like, no, you should use these.
Okay. If you're Caleb, do you want to reflip your Huntmaster?
Possibly. I might just want to see if I can kill Lance here. Wait till the sword equips and then act the guy back. Lance is closer to dead than it might look at first glance. At the very least, the only safe swing is the Golem token. So I guess I'm going to start by Visionarying and see. Oh, he has Bird's Visionary. That's a great way to flip it back. Yeah, probably swinging the Golem
There
token.
we go.
Yep.
Do that first, see what happens. Four Golem coming in.
Yeah, potentially a 5/5/2. Otherwise, Lance could trade it. Yeah, he's just going to chump it. If it was without the township, he could trade it for the Mirror Crusader by double blocking with it and the Golem token, but no longer an option. If you're going to flip this guy back with Birds and Visionary, you usually want to play the Visionary first so you know what card you're getting. In case of doing it with Restoration Angel. First points to Huntmaster, but then I guess he's allowed to. He points to Blade Splicer. Huntmaster is going to flip anyway.
Yep.
So that's fine. Yeah, and then Lance saying, "All right, let's clean this up." Restoration Angel also does not get a die. Hopefully that doesn't.
Not the bird. Not the bird. Not the angel.
Yeah, the angel. We'll ask a judge to correct that here. The angel shouldn't have a die. Okay, yeah, Caleb caught
There
it
we
too.
go.
Not the bird, not the angel. And Huntmaster flips back. Just now, at this point, it's all about Gavoni Township. There's too many. If Caleb can Township one more time, he's out of bonfire range. He's out of range of really everything and should be able to bring this one home.
It looks pretty rough right now.
There's a lot of cards on Caleb's side of the table.
No red for Lance to be able to miracle a bonfire.
Right.
And one more attack phase might just be so close to lethal, you can count it as lethal.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's not lethal already. I don't know. I mean, he can block. He can block his way through it, but not comfortably. That's what we have from Lance Behrens here.
This sort of body in mind looking a little bit sad when faced off against 3 potential blockers who don't care about the protections on it.
Right. The swords, like I said, the sword's not the most important thing for Lance here. He's especially with the active aggression in Caleb's hand. I'm not really sure how Lance gets in this. I think Lance slouches back in the chair. Lance knows it too. You know, he's got 2 creatures to Caleb's 9.
And he says go. Lance saying go there. He might have a dismember.
That does flip the Huntmaster back.
Yeah, he
I don't think he has
might
anything.
have crashing vines, but either of those cards don't seem like it's enough to stop this problem.
Land from Caleb Durward. And I think you're just going to see everything turn sideways. Caleb counting it, to be sure.
Rawr.
Everything in. And I think that's enough.
Rawr.
Lance counting. It certainly appears to be.
I predict we will see an extension of the hand, and Caleb Durward is probably going to be our champion here.
Just should always be sure, so let him check it. You know, if you're not positive, check it by all means.
Thing to note too, when you're trying to do this math, that Ravager of the Fells has a nifty little special ability. Trample. Lance Behrens just checking to see if he's got anything to do here. Yeah, looking at it, even if he has a crashing vines, I see no blocks that let him survive.
Yeah. And all right, and there we are. Caleb Durward is your Star City Games Standard Open champion here in St. Louis, handing Lance Behrens his first loss in the final round of the tournament, 2-1. Wow! All the way through it. Congratulations to Caleb. A well-fought top 8. Great positioning. Made the playing against 2 Naya aggro decks with his Naya pod deck. Made the most of it and kind of really crushed his way through the top 8.